Oh, my bad. Thank you so much, Danielle. You just saved the day. I was talking and talking. Oh my god, I'm gonna have to edit that part out. And I had the volume up on my phone and everything. I should have been able to tell that was happening. Let's start over. Thank you so much, Danielle. You're awesome. Okay, so what I just put into the chat was Crowned Empress's link to the George Floyd trial, day 5. She didn't go live last night, but she did do an upload of the day 5 of George Floyd trial. So I put the link there if anybody wants to go over there and catch up. I still need to do that. But yeah, thank you so much, Danielle, for letting me know you couldn't hear me. I totally forgot that I put myself on mute before I went live. But what I was reading earlier, if you missed it, was the energy of the day for April 3rd. I don't mind repeating it since I was on mute. That is my bad. But yes, today is April 3rd of 2021, and the main event today is Moon in Pragmatic Capricorn, Mercury in harmony with Uranus. I'm not going to say it the other way. I want to say even that way feels kind of weird, but whatever, it's there. What to expect: Capricorn increases focus and productivity, while Uranus and Mercury urge you to open your mind and try new things. What to do: this would be a good day to take calculated risks and step outside of your comfort zone. What not to do: don't avoid hard work today, it may boost your mood. I'm definitely outside of my comfort zone today. So I feel like I'm right on track and doing what I'm supposed to be doing, I guess. I'm gonna go to this other. Oh wait, actually, you know what? Hold on. How did I do that before? What did I do? Oh yeah, I went on my phone. I'll go ahead and put the link to astrology answers if that's something that you're into. You want to know like what the energy of the day is. They pretty much upload every day different things. Copy profile URL. Let's go here. Paste. And that's going to be the account for astrology answers. I'm going to go to one more. Everything moon cycle. Yeah, it should pop up because I'm always there. So they have today and tomorrow. I'll go ahead and read them both. Today's says Sun in Aries, waning gibbous. That means that the moon was full recently and now it's losing its brightness and it's moving towards a new moon, and that's when it gets completely dark. Moon is in Capricorn. Tarot is 7 of Cups. And the quote today is: my confidence is in the idea that I may be wrong on this or that. No man in this life should ever have to bear the burden of perfection. I agree. Nobody wants to be perfect. It's pretty much impossible trying to make everybody happy. Let's continue. Let's look at tomorrow since it's here. Sun in Aries, last quarter moon in Capricorn. Tarot is the Knight of Wands, and the quote is: don't ever let your deeds oppose the same thing you seek to promote. That is a big fallacy. That's pretty much the same idea. Don't ever let your deeds oppose the same thing you seek to promote. Well, yeah, you don't want to be a hypocrite. So definitely you want to stay in alignment with your intentions. I'm gonna do one more because there's this other account. Oh yeah, let me give you the link to that account too. I'm not sure if this is something I'm gonna want to do like every live. I wanted to, but it's a little bit like, you know, having to stop and adding the links and stuff like that. I don't know if that's something I'll be able to like do every time. I don't have too much planned for today. I do have a playlist. It's going to be news clips. There's some like nature news that happened recently. We'll take a look at that. But let me just look at this one other account and then we'll move on to watching videos. Hi. Glad you're here. I don't know why your name's not coming out. Hopefully it tags you right at Punisher Gaming. Hi. Chat. All right, so Healing Energy Tools has a quote from the universe. So let's hear what the universe has to say today. The universe is saying to you today, find balance and inner peace as you go through endings and conclusions, leading to new opportunities for growth, new directions, and new perceptions. Embrace this new energy coming in. Sounds good. Let me add the link for that. Maybe there's a way that I could just like, have the links ready and then I could just copy and paste them. I'll put that on my to-do list later. But I want to give proper credit to, where I'm getting this information from. So it's important to do that. You know what? I think it's better to chat on your phone because at least you can use emojis. I don't even see where you can use emojis on the StreamYards app. But let me go ahead and stop sharing, which is going to make me big. And now I'm going to share some videos that I collected this week. So let's move on to that. Let's say it's this one. All right, so we're going to start here. And this is courtesy of Vesa channel. Driver slams through front of Maryland Taco Bell during heated fight. Let me know if this is too loud or like too soft. I hope the music isn't too loud too. Earlier we had issues. I was on mute and I was talking and I pretty much had to say everything all over again. I hope there's a way to edit that part out because keeping it in is going to be kind of embarrassing. Just saying. All right, let's play this.
An argument outside a Taco Bell in Maryland became a little too spicy when a driver plowed into a crowd of people, then crashed through a glass door into the restaurant. In the wild footage, a group of people are seen shouting at each other in front of the fast food joint in Waldorf at around 10:20 p.m. Wednesday, before the driver hits the gas, striking at least 2 people and smashing into the restaurant.
Oh my
2
God.
women in the car had allegedly just picked a fight with a worker in the drive-thru window and assaulted her before jumping back in the car. A motorist then drove to the front of the restaurant, where an argument broke out between folks in the car and employees of the restaurant. 2 people were treated at the scene by paramedics, and 1 person was taken to a hospital with non-life-threatening injuries.
That's a bad night at Taco Bell. That's not how you behave at Taco Bell. Well, I mean, I hope everybody's okay. And that looked really brutal. Hey, be quiet. If I find out anything else about that situation, I will surely let you know. I'm pretty sure some people got arrested. What is this, Maryland? Let me see if I can find out real quick what happened there. If anybody got arrested or whatever. Maryland, Taco Bell. What? Hit and run? That's what came up. Let me see. It doesn't look like it. Oh, there's people that are wanted for it. Just the videos is what's trending right now. That was crazy, right? How he ran them over. That's not how you act at Taco Bell. You just go for your crunchy tacos, your burrito supreme, and your Baja Blast, lots of sugar. Smashing right into the Taco Bell. He ran over 2 people and smashed them into the Taco Bell during a pandemic. It was crazy. All right, so saw that one. Let's go ahead and take that out. Bring myself back over here. And let's go to the next video. Let's take a look at lions drink from artificial ponds during India heat wave from KHOU 11. Look at the kitties. Wait, hold on. What did that say? It said Gur National Park in India. That even sounds cute. They're so cute, but you can't have them as pets. Lately, I've been seeing a lot of news clips of people that are keeping tigers, lions, bears. A bobcat, I think, was found in somebody's home in Houston, and they rescued it. And I think there was also a baby tiger cub in that same house. But this is a lot better for them. They don't belong in houses. It was sad too because the bobcat was going blind. I'm pretty sure they kept them in the dark or something because their eyes look not good. Oh, look at the deer. Okay, before the next thing goes, man, this thing goes like quick. Tries to confuse me. So yeah, that was lions drink from an artificial pond during India heat wave. That was super cute. The next one is going to be dog saves owner from home intruder. Let's check it out. All right, it says Angel, a 3-year-old rescue dog, returned the favor when she rescued her owners from a home intruder on March 29th. There they go. They're an elderly couple too. She woke up 69-year-old James Harden by jumping on his chest and running into the kitchen. Oh, get out of here, Ad. So cute. Angel came running back into the bedroom, jumped back on James' chest, and growled. She's being persistent, in other words. He got out of bed, got his gun, and held the suspect at gunpoint until police arrived.
She took care of the ones that loved her. She's got a special place in my heart. And she's done a great job. She's done a great job. I was very proud of her.
Me too. She's so cute. She looks like a little poodle, maybe. That reminds me of the time my dog rescued me from an intruder in the backyard. He did pretty much something like that, but my dog's very loud and aggressive sounding. So when he caught somebody back there, he growled. I was able to turn on the light and scream and tell him to get the fuck out of here. This is pretty much all I could do. I don't know what the law is on shooting somebody in the back when they're running away from you. So I'm pretty sure even if I had a gun or something, I wouldn't have legally really been able to do anything. I don't know too much about that though. I would have to ask an actual like expert or whatever. But it was scary, and yeah, I hope it doesn't happen again. Let's continue on. I'm gonna kind of try to like mix it up between like serious stories and then like not so serious stories. This next one though was kind of ridiculous. I remember I saw it a couple times because I was picturing what they were describing because there's no video. So if you use your imagination, this guy had a pretty wild day. It's called Car Backfiring Causes Shooting Scare on Las Vegas Strip. And this is courtesy of KTMV Channel 13 Las Vegas. And all credits are in the description. So if you want to, locate a video or whatever, you just find the channel. And, well, I already told you the title, so if you want to find it, you can do it that way too.
A shooting scare on the Las Vegas Strip turns out to be a car backfiring. Now, this is Enrique Perez of Los Angeles, and police say they got reports of 20 shots fired in the Planet Hollywood parking garage on March 15th. That's where officers found Perez inside a red Acura. According to court documents, he was not listening to officers demanding that he turn the car off. Perez then stepped on the gas, making his car backfire repeatedly, which is what people thought was gunshots. He was arrested near Harmon and Koval after doing several donuts. Perez faces multiple charges, including DUI and reckless driving.
He's having a great day. He's real proud of himself. Hey, observing, you missed it. I made a total fool of myself earlier. I was on mute, and I was talking, and then Danielle told me that I was on mute. And then I had to repeat everything all over again. That was pretty bad. But it happens. I know it happens. I'm just gonna say thank you for a donation that I got. I know, it was hilarious. It happened. So I don't know if you just heard this last clip we saw, but it's this guy going on a trip over there in Las Vegas, and his car was backfiring all crazy style, making people think that there was an active shooting happening or something, and the dude was fucking with the cops, doing donuts, and then he took this mugshot. So you could just imagine the kind of day he had. Looks like he had fun. All right, let's erase this because we already saw it. All right, let's go into a little bit of a serious situation. It's about a woman who received an illegal plastic surgery job, and it didn't work out. So this is called Woman Sentenced to 5 years for Fatal Silicone Butt Injection at St. Louis Hotel. Observing, did you hear about this? Do you know any of the subjects in this story? Just want to know. This is courtesy of Fox 2 St. Louis. Let's check it out. Let me do a quick research on what a silicone and whatever that says. Hold on. Silicone. Just because I want to know exactly what that put her through. What does that mean? Like they say silicone pulmonary embolism, but what does that really mean? Let's find out. All right, so Google says silicone pulmonary embolism is an unusual complication of cosmetic silicone injection. An accurate history is essential in considering this diagnosis. Bronchoscopy with transbronchial biopsy can provide confirmatory pathologic findings. We report a classic case of silicone pulmonary embolism in a transsexual patient. Well, it doesn't really say like how does that make you feel? I mean, I'm sure it makes you feel horrible, obviously, right? And pulmonary means the lungs. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah. Just give me a second. I just want to see about this. Says the majority of patients present within a few hours to days after silicone injection with dyspnea, fever, hypoxia, cough, hemoptysis, chest tightness, or chest pain. Yeah, that's pretty much what I imagined. So, I mean, that's awful. 5 years in prison for killing someone, everybody. That's crazy. That's, you would think, hearing the facts. The person knew that, you know, they're not an expert, they're not a professional, they're not, you know, they don't have any of the things that you would need to be performing things like that. That's pretty much murder. That you're, even if you get away with it and they're only going to do 5 years, that's insane. That's not justice at all. And I hope that the family can at least, if this is how it's going to go, that the family can at least, you know, carry out a wrongful death suit. I mean, it's not going to get their loved one back, but 5 years for that woman, and she's probably not even going to do the whole 5 years. With good behavior, it's probably going to be more like 2, 3. How are they comfortable even attempting that surgery is right, observing stuff, and then in a hotel? I mean, that in itself should have raised red flags, but sometimes people want things so much that they're willing to take any risk if the price is right. And the thing with cosmetic surgery, apparently now that like COVID is, you know, taking its toll on people are getting used to, you know, being on camera more often, having to do meetings like on Zoom and going to work, you know, this like, you know, this way. Some people are actually getting surgery on their faces to look certain ways because of their having, it's called Zoom dysmorphia. Look at this, like I even got a clip for it. So I guess now would be a good time to jump into it. It says people are making permanent changes to their faces, and this is courtesy of KHOU. 11.
Plastic surgery is on the rise during this pandemic. Part of the reason is this: Zoom. So many people are working from home and looking at themselves all day during virtual meetings. There's actually a term for this: Zoom dysmorphia. Tell Bluta it's a closer look. With your face constantly right there on the screen, it's hard not to look, even harder not to judge. And that's making some people make permanent changes. For Julie Martin, it was something. My neck was saggy, I felt my jaws were saggy. I always wanted to do. On Zoom calls, but the pandemic, it just became more critical because you're looking at yourself more. Made that decision. As he just lifted up the lower portion of my face, he lifted up my neck even easier. I see a lot of facial rejuvenation procedures. It's hard to believe a tool we hadn't heard of a year ago could be the reason behind a new surge in plastic surgery. People were spending hours on end confronting their own reflection, a distorted reflection. It's become such a thing, there's now a name for it: Zoom dysmorphia. Patients were perceiving certain aspects of their appearance to be a problem much more than the reality. Speaking to us by what else? Zoom. Dr. Shadi Karosh, the Harvard professor and dermatologist who coined the term, says it all started when patients cited their own on-screen image as the reason they wanted aesthetic alterations. I mean, Zoom is a big factor of it. The fact that they're going to have to see themselves all the time in this little self-analysis window. And it's really happening. The camera's pretty harsh. Houston plastic surgeon Dr. Raghu Agre says even in a pandemic, his business is up 27% over last year. He believes many of his patients already had some insecurities, but are now we're super focused on it. Zooming in on that. It's probably brought many of these things to life. But for some people, because we're looking at ourselves more than ever. UHC professor of psychology Dr. Susan Henney says it could be more about body image. Could this create body issues for people?
Yes.
It can, because it's a way of looking at ourselves that we're not used to. She says people with body dysmorphic disorder stare at their image on the screen and can't look away. Some people just have a problem regulating their attention off of themselves. And that just makes everything worse. But body image or not, if you want a permanent fix, don't make any hasty decisions. Start with asking your doctor. Is what they're complaining of is something real? I always recommend everybody to give it a heart. But the bottom line, don't just let the screen decide. Guys, back to you.
Yeah. I would totally get plastic surgery, but it like costs a ton. So sometimes it's just cheaper to keep her, you know what I mean? If you know what I mean. Let me find that video. Okay, I think I'm not too sure if I erased it or maybe because I got it from down here. Oh yeah, here it is. Plastic surgery for what? My nose. I think I have. I know. I don't think. I know I have a big nose. I can't help but look at it. I kind of understand what they're saying about Zoom dysmorphia. Like when I was looking at myself, setting all this up, and I turned the camera on, I couldn't stop looking at my big nose. I was like, yeah, I would do that. But I don't know. At the same time, I don't know because I'm not a fan of like medical procedures. I would have a phobia of that because I've also heard, horrible stories of people passing away with just the anesthesia. In fact, we know somebody who became a victim of that. I mean, I don't want to mention names or anything like that, but I'm pretty sure like most people that follow Queen or Crown Empress heard about a certain somebody that went actually for, I think, a dental procedure, if I'm not mistaken, and they went under with the anesthesia, and before you knew it, like ambulance was there and it was an emergency situation and they weren't even talking to the family or anything. So that, and then to get rhinoplasty, it means having to break your nose. So if your nose is perfectly like fine, they'll break it and then fix it, and that sounds very painful too. So I don't know. It's like a toss up. It's a 50-50 if I would actually do it. Like if I had the money and the opportunity, you know. Maybe I would do it, maybe I wouldn't. Let's move on. Let's seamlessly move on to this other video that I found was interesting. It's called Bioluminescence Captured on Camera Along Laguna Beach Shores. And this is courtesy of ABC 7.
Was that your great-grandmother?
And that's going to be an ad. 1 second. You see that? It's like a glowy blue. That looks so pretty. I would love to see that like in real life. This is due to, I want to say, plankton that has bioluminescence. Like some fish and stuff just glow naturally. And I guess they were like coming up with the tide on this day, and it just made the water look like that when it crashed ashore. It looks so pretty. There, that's super bright. Wow, that guy's really happy. That guy's having a great day. That's pretty good. The other one's playing it cool. Oh, the sun's coming up and it still looks so pretty. Kind of looks like my background right there. Hi, Mike Brown. Thanks for your video. Like, maybe next time we'll stick around longer. That does look nice, right? But I don't think that ever happens down here. I doubt it. I've never heard of that here. This was in Laguna Beach Shores, ABC 7. That sounds like it could be California. I'd love to see that, like, in real life, though. Let's take a look at stray dog breaks into store to try to get a stuffed animal, and this is courtesy of KHOU 11. Let's check it out.
Welcome to Peloton's
Ad, my bad. I keep forgetting to lower the volume. So Sisu the dog and his friend are happy together, but it wasn't always this way. Says the stray pooch kept breaking into a Dollar General store in Kenansville, North Carolina to steal the stuffed unicorn, and here they are together. So cute. Dublin County Animal Services came to get Sisu and ended up helping the dog get the toy. Aww. It's so cute. Aww. That's how my dog is with her hedgehog. An officer purchased the unicorn for Sisu and brought them to the shelter together. Dublin County Animal Services said Sisu is obedient, sassy, and loves unicorns from Dollar General. That is so cute, huh? Sisu has been adopted according to Animal Services. That's good. I hope Sisu's in a good place. He's happy eating treats and gets more unicorn toys. I guess we can go ahead and jump into this one since it was so anxious. But this is going to be the volcano that's been erupting, I want to say, for over a week now. And there's some people here playing volleyball. It's called They Are Playing a Volleyball Game Next to Erupting Volcano. No big deal. I say it's no big deal. They're there because they want to be. If they end up getting eaten alive by lava, they ought to know better. Because literally the floor is lava there. So they should know what that means. By now, they're grown. I like animal videos too. I want to say I have a few more. Check this one out. Rhino baby takes a mud bath with mom. And this is courtesy of KHOU 11. Look how cute. And this is Dubbo, Australia. Let me turn up the volume a bit. Look, what a good mom. Aw, she's chilling. Yep, that's good. This is how to do it. Oh, and the baby taking a big old risk. She looks kind of out of it. She looks like she just got home from a rough night. The baby's just along for the ride. Look how cute. Yeah, people are crazy. Aw, looks like a puppy. Here coming in for a close-up. And bop. See ya. Oh, that was so cute. I love rhinos. I haven't been to the zoo in forever. We have a zoo close by called Gladys Porter Zoo in Brownsville. I haven't been there in a long time, but when I went, it was fun. They have really good pizza there. That's for some reason I remember the pizza like really good. But let's continue on. I think I have another animal video. I'm pretty sure. Oh yeah, this one's kind of bad though. I don't think I'm ready for that one yet. We'll save that for later on today or whatever. Let's go with another nice one. Let's look at spring is in the air in Tokyo. The iconic cherry blossoms are in full bloom, and it looks like this already started playing. And this is going to be in Meguro River, Tokyo, Japan. And I want to say this is courtesy of KHOU 11. I'm not 100%. Yeah, it is KHOU 11. Let's take a look at the cherry blossoms in Tokyo. So pretty. If anybody here knows what platform I can maybe join to show videos and not have to really worry about copyright. I know there's some platforms out there, but not really sure which way I want to go yet. If anybody has any opinions about that, go ahead and let me know if you're in the group chat, or I think pretty much everyone here I know personally. Thanks for stopping by the way, while we hang out and look at these gorgeous cherry blossoms. I love how I always hit like pause right before the video ends, and like it shouldn't be a problem. It should just pause, and no, it just keeps going. It just keeps going. All right, let's continue on. Let's go with this really sad story. I'm actually going to need to do a little bit of research for this because when I watched the clip, it didn't have a lot of information. And I remember I had to search more to find out like what happened. So let me go ahead and play the video, and then we'll talk about, you know, what I found out. It's called, oops, wrong video, not the deer. This one. This is courtesy of Wait 6 on your side. It's called Baby Joe's Parents to Stand Trial Separately.
Child believed to have been killed by his father will stand trial separately. Today, Joseph Daniels, father of Joe Clyde, also known as Baby Joe, appeared in the courtroom. Baby Joe's mother, Crystal Daniels, appeared before the judge via Zoom. During today's motions hearings, both prosecutors and the defense made that agreement to have the parents stand trial separately. The trial for Joseph Daniels is set to start June 1st. A date for Crystal Daniels will be set by the court a little bit later. We will keep you posted. Meantime, we have been following this case out of Dixon County for years now. On April 4th, 2018, Joseph Daniels called 911 and told dispatchers his son had gotten away. Baby Joe had autism and was nonverbal. A few days into the search for Baby Joe, Joseph Daniels allegedly admitted to investigators that he had killed the little baby. He later took back his confession. His attorney requested the confession be thrown out, saying Daniels was coerced over hours of questioning. While Baby Joe is believed to be dead, the child's remains still have not been found. This has been a major case for years now. Tonight at 5, we are remembering Baby Joe and looking back to the twists and turns of this story. Again, that's right here on WATE 6 on your site news at 5.
Okay, stop. All right. So we did learn a little bit about what happened there. But I did want to find an article because the articles do have more information. So this was out of Dixon, Tennessee, and this is courtesy of WKRN.com. It says, in a case with very little physical evidence, a witness statement can be all the jury needs to convict. In this case against Crystal Daniels, what she claims she saw could help put her husband behind bars for life or face the death penalty. Tennessee Bureau of Investigation's Special Agent Joey Boyd has been the lead case agent on the investigation into missing but presumed dead Joe Clyde Daniels, also known as Baby Joe. I want to say that the news report didn't even give him his full name. It says, Crystal Daniels faces aggravated child neglect charges in the case of her missing son. In the early morning hours of April 4, 2018, Boyd testified that Joseph and Crystal claimed her son Alex woke them with news about his 5-year-old brother. Joe Clyde had urinated on the floor. Joseph said that he'd handle it, said Boyd in her statement to investigators. I know, Daniel, I'm sorry. We're going to get through this, though. We got to do this for the baby because no, I don't think anybody that I know has picked up on the story yet. So, in her statement to investigators, Crystal said a loud scream followed. She described it as a painful scream, and then she described that it suddenly just stopped and it was silence, recalled Boyd. Crystal came out of her room to find Joe Clyde on the ground, motionless, not moving, and Joseph standing over him with his fist clenched, said Special Agent Boyd. Crystal said her husband, who apparently has a black belt in martial arts, took a swing at her and said if she told anybody, he'd kill her. She stated that she never got close enough to check on him, Boyd testified. She went back to her room. She heard the car door shut. She came out of the room, saw that Joseph and Joe were gone. She said she went back to her room and went to sleep. In the following days, Crystal and Joseph continued to claim Baby Joe had run off. She gave you a reason for the alleged lie. She was afraid of Mr. Daniels and her father-in-law. Is that true? Said Crystal's lawyer. That's true, Boyd responded. Yet 6 months after her arrest, she sent a letter to her father-in-law who read the note to News 2. You are my mom and Papa Joe is like my dad. It's right there. The letter raised more questions than answers in a case that is far from closed. Crystal's lawyer attempted to have her charges dropped. The judge responded respectfully, Mr. Porter, I'd say that your client was on notice that her husband, Mr. Daniels, posed a threat to the child when she came out of the bed to investigate the child's painful scream. Saw him standing over her child motionless on the floor. She told agents that he left the house. She could have called 911 at that point, but instead she went back to bed and went to sleep. So that's what happened there. Now we're just finding out now that they're going to be tried separately. So I'm guessing what they're going to try to do is put the murder on the man, and then the mom will probably just be like an accomplice or whatever. Probably not get anything as bad as the man will, because he actually did the thing. But I'll keep looking into that. Let me just write that down, actually. I don't want to forget. Wait, 6 on your side, I want to say is Florida. I'll find out. But I definitely want to stay on top of that story. Yeah, and another thing is, if you know any stories that you want me to cover, or like mainly breaking news, any updates that have happened, just send them to my DM on my Instagram, or if you have another way of like getting in contact with me, just go ahead and pass that along. I would appreciate it. All right, let's move along. Oh, here's another animal story, but this one's not a happy one too much. It's called Weekend Dive Turns into Shark Encounter on Kauai. And this is courtesy of KHON2 News. Kauai is going to be in Hawaii. Oops, wrong button. Where are you? Here you are.
A Kauai boy out for a weekend dive got an unexpected, up-close encounter. Lauren Day has his story.
At 16 years old, Canon Allen seems like your typical teenager. He goes to school, makes YouTube videos, and loves the beach. But his most recent spearfishing trip was all but typical.
My mom wanted a boo-boo, so went out there. It's like 40 feet of water, and I seen the shark swim by.
Allen says he sees sharks all the time, and they always just move along. But this time, it was different.
Inside. Not all the time they chased us all the way to the inside. They actually followed us all the way from outside from 40 feet water over a shallow reef onto this inside little bay.
It was low tide.
Oh, it's
Allen
crazy.
says he had to walk over a dry reef to get to shore. But that didn't stop the shark.
Oh, right there. Right there. We had to walk over dry reef beyond to the inside, and then we had to swim in. And I was just like laughing. I was laughing because I was like, bro,
isn't it AOV?
And I was tripping out.
He's on the beach. He's on the beach. Allen believes the shark was after his catch. He was strung onto a buoy. Shark expert Dr. Kim Holland with the University of Hawaii's Institute of Marine Biology agrees. He says this was a black-tip shark, which live in shallow coastal waters. They usually stay away from humans unless there's food involved.
They're hungry.
He says he's not letting his close encounters stop him from getting back into the water.
That's good.
I've been diving and fishing my whole life here on Kauai. I love it. It's amazing being in the water, being able to do such a fun sport.
Lauren Day, KHON2 News, working for Hawaii.
Stop. No, we're not going to stop. We're going to keep going.
I was in awe.
Right. Well, I am afraid of drowning, as it is. Sharks are scary. I think more like, what is the O for, though? What am I missing? I'm missing something. But, yeah, if I'd see a shark like that, I would, I'm not even going to say what I would do. I would be very scared. But Hawaii sounds like fun. Kauai sounds like fun. I want to say that that's the island that Lost was filmed on. Hold on, let me find out. Lost was filmed on what island? Oh, no, never mind. It was Oahu. But it looked about the same amount of gorgeousness. Hawaii sounds great. I don't know. Anybody been to Hawaii? Yes, no? I feel like I'm talking to myself now. It's starting to get to me. Let's keep going. Let's keep swimming. Alright, let's look at this video. It's about officer involved situations. I think this would be a good time to segue into a short video that I found about what's been going on in the George Floyd trial so far. But first, let's look at this video. It's called Officers Use 320-Degree Simulator Stage for Incident Training. And this is courtesy of Fox 13 Tampa Bay. I saw this video and I chose it because it looks interesting. It actually kind of looks like fun. If video games were more like this, maybe I'd play more. I don't know what you all think. Let me know.
Cases involving police and use of force, tensions are higher than ever in many communities. Attitudes have changed, and now so too has the training. St. Pete College is on the leading edge of training our next generation of police officers.
Yeah, their law enforcement academy has just unveiled a new virtual tool, and as I got to see firsthand, it's training cadets to make quicker and better life-saving decisions. For anyone wearing a badge, more realistic training means more life-saving decisions. And these cadets are among the first in the state to experience it. It's called Virtua, a 320-degree virtual virtual training stage.
Now I need you to step away from the weapon.
Emma Tabak
Please stand up and move away.
was just hired by Clearwater PD.
It's definitely intense. There's a lot that you have to learn that you wouldn't otherwise know.
Jonathan Reese is now one of St. Pete PD's finest.
If we're not engaged with what's going on around us, we get tunnel vision. That can be a really tragic day.
And there's Kevon Mavon.
It's not the easiest time, I'd imagine, to get into law enforcement.
No, sir. He grew up around law enforcement, but was most inspired to join the force by current events.
There's a lot of people that are talking about police should do this, police should do that. I figured instead of talking about it, I should go out and try to be that change. So that inspired me to come to the academy and try to change some things going forward.
But this goes far beyond teaching when to shoot and when not to shoot. There are 250 different scenarios here, each with varying outcomes, depending on how the recruit reacts.
So the system we're looking at here encourages that dialogue with the citizen on the street, looking for de-escalation processes so they don't have to resort to use of force issues.
Secondary officer to back up on a domestic.
The operator sitting nearby can choose to have the suspect comply or resist, depending on the officer's tone.
And that obviously helps the realism, right?
Absolutely. Just like out in the real world, we don't know how individuals are going to react. We don't know what individuals are going to say.
And without having seen those scenarios play out yet, it was my turn to give it a try.
Sir, you need to put the knife down. Sir, you need to put the knife down.
He doesn't. He charges and likely slashes me because I hesitated.
There's a lot going on, and I think it took you a little less than a second to make all those decisions.
But then it was too late.
And then it was too late.
So I try again.
Oh my God.
I shot off this time, but miss. It even shows me, look, where I missed. See that blue dot behind him? Yeah, behind him is the key.
That's how far he advanced that quick when you got the shot.
So third time's the charm, right? This time I'm backing up an officer who's holding someone down in a fight. Only another man has a knife.
Sir, put the knife down.
I hesitate. He charges my partner. I shoot and miss again.
So by the time I decided to shoot, my bullet was here, and he's already up here, probably already on top of the officer.
Right. Both times, all I could think about, though, was not getting in trouble. What would happen to me if I made the wrong choice?
And that's what causes, in your case, it's what caused you to get hurt in that situation.
And lose my partner, right?
And lose your partner in the line, yes, sir.
The new reality for police. Facing situations like these on the street where they don't have a reset button.
Now, St. Pete College's Law Enforcement Academy trains officers for 13 area police departments all throughout the Tampa Bay area. And they're expecting to train and place another 3,200 law enforcement officers locally just in the next 8 years.
I would play that. They could, I mean, okay, let me back up. It's a good tool to have for police. You know, I think probably every precinct or whatever should have it. I think it would help. It's definitely going to be very insightful for some people. But I want to go a step further than that. Can you imagine Zelda being played that way? Like, just have like a 360 like view of Hyrule, and you run and you use like your bow and arrow and your sword, and oh my God. Any game, in fact, pretty much, you could play like that. I really should, but they won't, because that's just too much fun, and people would like it, and for some reason, that's a problem. So, most of us here probably have been watching the George Floyd trial with Crown Empress. She didn't go live yesterday, but she did do an upload of day 5 of the trial. They're breaking for the weekend. They should be back Monday. And I found this 10-minute clip of basically like a summation of what day 4 was like. So I thought we could check that out, you know, since we're all here. So let's check it out. It's called Derek Chauvin Trial Day 4. Paramedics detail efforts to save George Floyd's life. Ex-police sergeant ... And this is courtesy of CBS News.
A former police supervisor and George Floyd's girlfriend all took this took the stand on Thursday,
Come on, lady.
delivering more powerful testimony in day 4 of Derek Chauvin's murder trial. Retired shift supervisor Dave Pfluger was on duty the day Floyd died. He told the court about his initial interaction with Chauvin and how the former officer explained his side of the encounter. Pfluger also told the court he believed the officers should have stopped restraining the 46-year-old sooner. We also heard from Floyd's girlfriend. She spoke about the man that she loved and their shared struggles with drug addiction. CBS News correspondent Jamie Yukas is in Minneapolis with the latest. Dramatic, never-before-seen video of the ambulance team arriving to save George Floyd's life. Paramedic Seth Ravender says the first thing he saw was multiple officers still on top of Floyd.
From what I could see where I was at, I didn't see any breathing or movement or anything like that.
Ravender makes a hand gesture at Officer Derek Chauvin, telling him to move, as his partner, paramedic Derek Smith, checked Floyd's pulse. What did his condition appear to be to you, overall?
In lay terms, I thought he was dead.
Smith says he wanted to move Floyd to a different location to get away from the crowd.
Multiple cell phones out, there's elevated tones used.
The prosecution showed these disturbing images inside the ambulance as emergency responders worked frantically to resuscitate Floyd. They say the cardiac monitor showed Floyd had flatlined. At any point, did he regenerate a pulse or come to? Was he revived?
No.
And today, jurors learned about George Floyd, the man, from the woman who loved him. Floyd's girlfriend, Courtney Ross, says they first met at a shelter where he had worked. She was there to talk to her son's father and was visibly distressed when Floyd approached her.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing at something else.
He said, can I pray with you? It was so sweet.
She says Floyd worked out every day and loved food. But she says he was devastated after his mother's death in 2018. He also struggled with drugs.
Floyd and I both suffered with an opioid addiction. It's a classic story of how many people get addicted to opioids. We both suffered from chronic pain. Mine was in my neck and his was in his back.
Ross testified that Floyd had bought drugs from Maurice Hall, the person sitting in the passenger seat of Floyd's SUV on the day of the police encounter. He's refused to testify, citing his Fifth Amendment right. On Friday, prosecutors are expected to use the Minneapolis police chief to make their case against his own former officer. He fired Derek Chauvin days after George Floyd died, and all eyes will be on the answer to one question. In his opinion, did Chauvin use excessive force when his knee was on Floyd's neck? Lana? Really emotional stuff today. Jamie, thank you. For more now, let's bring in Kim Whaley. Kim is a law professor at the University of Baltimore School of Law and author of the book, How to Read the Constitution and Why. Kim, we heard Derek Chauvin's former shift supervisor say officers should have stopped restraining George Floyd sooner when he was no longer resisting. How important is his assessment to the prosecution's case?
Well, it's important because it gets to the critical question of causation of the death. So as we've seen, police officers often have to use force in order to manage difficult suspects or to manage the crowd. That's not illegal. That's not a crime. So the question in this moment comes down to whether Chauvin crossed a line. At some point, did he move from the need to use force to something that is criminal, either manslaughter, murder 2, or murder 3? And this testimony suggests that at least from this former supervisor, shift supervisor in that moment, that he did, from a professional standpoint, from this witness's point of view, cross the line, that he should have taken his knee off the neck earlier than he did, which was not until the first responders came on the scene and took some steps to take over the scene.
I'm going to stop there real quick. I also want to mention that the autopsy report is officially like homicide. Let me just make sure, just because I don't want to misquote. I do that a lot. But I want to say that the autopsy says suicide by like cop even. Hold on. George Floyd autopsy. Let me see. I want to say this might be it. Just give me a second to find it. Reveals that he was positive. Oh, wow. He was positive for SARS-CoV-2, the virus that causes COVID-19. I did not know that. Did anybody know that? The 20-page report also indicates that Floyd had fentanyl and methamphetamine in his system at the time of his death, although the drugs are not listed as the cause. Floyd's death has been ruled a homicide. The autopsy report from the Hennepin County Medical Examiner's Office concludes the cause of death was cardiopulmonary arrest complicating law enforcement subdual restraint and neck compression. That conclusion, death due to heart failure, differs from the one reached by an independent examiner hired by the Floyd family that reported listed the cause of death as asphyxiation from sustained pressure. The medical examiner's report does not mention asphyxiation. However, according to prosecutors in charging documents filed last week, early results revealed no physical findings that support a diagnosis of traumatic asphyxia or strangulation. So you would think that would be enough, that the autopsy said that this is a result of asphyxia, and then the mention of, by restraint of a police officer, whatever it was, literally what did it say? Complicating law enforcement subdual restraint and neck compression. Case closed, but this is America and everybody needs their day in court, even though they're guilty. Sometimes innocent until proven guilty is what I'm supposed to be saying, allegedly, but I feel personally that he is guilty. He did cause his death. He didn't have to do all of that. Let me know what you think in the chat while we continue watching this video.
Kim, let's talk about the testimony that we heard from George Floyd's girlfriend, Courtney Ross. She admitted that the two of them used opioids. The defense's central argument is that Floyd died because of drug use and a heart condition. So how might her testimony impact this case?
Same issue here, Lana, which is the question of causation. Was it the knee on the neck that actually ultimately caused his death? It might be upsetting. It might be maybe crossing even a line in terms of police force. But the question is it a substantial contributing factor to the death? The law in Minnesota does not require a proof beyond a reasonable doubt that it's the only cause. But I think the defense argument is going to be, based on the testimony we heard from his girlfriend and presumably some experts in forensics and pathology, the testimony or the argument will probably be something along the lines from the defense that he had some pre-existing condition, he had drugs in his system, that it was his condition that actually ultimately led to the death, that the force placed on his neck wasn't enough to actually kill him.
Kim, I want to ask you about something that we heard from Jamie's reporting, that Maurice Hall is refusing to testify, citing his Fifth Amendment right. Remember, Floyd's girlfriend says that Hall supplied the drugs. He was in the car with Floyd. Why would someone plead the Fifth in this sort of situation? And how might Hall's refusal to testify impact either the defense or the prosecution's case?
Well, I mean, the Fifth Amendment is the right that every American has, or everyone in America has in a criminal context, to not incriminate themselves, that the government can't force you to testify in a way that can ultimately put you in jail. So based on what we know, we haven't heard the testimony relating to what was happening in the car prior to the incident. It's possible, conceivable, that there was something illegal relating to drugs, and this witness doesn't want to be forced to say something that could ultimately be turned against him individually in some kind of later criminal process. Now, how does this affect the defendant's case? We've seen all along these multiple narratives. One of the narrative being that George Floyd had a history of drug use. I think his his girlfriend here painted it in a pretty compassionate light. I mean, there are millions of Americans that are struggling with opioid addiction. This is a huge public health problem. It's something that legislators need to step up and deal with. But to the extent to which Floyd can be, quote, put on trial in this to divert the jury from Mr. Shovin, I think that's a tactic that is squarely within a legitimate kind of defense. This defense team doesn't have a lot to work with. Given what we've seen so far, given the multiple videos, given the very, very compelling testimony, not just around the 9+ minutes that this force seemed excessive, but also the witnesses who watched this and were traumatized. We've heard witnesses say this was hard to even to watch from the sidelines. I tried to help and stop this and was treated in a hostile manner, not in an open-minded manner. So the defense has a very, very uphill battle. The thing to keep in mind, it's proof beyond a reasonable doubt. It's up to the government to prove this case, not up to Mr. Shovin to disprove this case. And the government has to convince all of the jurors here. But Mr. Floyd is not on trial. And I think that's where this narrative around his drug use could get a little tricky in theory for the prosecution.
Yeah, a very important point there, Kim. You were bringing up the witnesses, people who were in the crowd gathered around George Floyd in those final moments. I want to ask you about the defense's strategy, because they've asked several witnesses about the demeanor of the crowd there. What are former Officer Chauvin's attorneys trying to argue?
Again, I think it's a distraction, it's a deflection. On one hand, to maybe discredit some of these witnesses. I'm not so sure that's been particularly successful. To suggest that, they can be impeached or discredited because they were, had some elevated excitement in that moment, had some emotional reaction. But I think the other possible defense is to suggest that the three officers that were on Mr. Floyd, including Mr. Chauvin, knee was on Mr. Floyd's neck, that they were distracted by the ruckus, that the crowd made the situation unnecessarily elevated, and that should come into play given the totality of the circumstances, that what was on the plate of these officers wasn't just managing the situation with Mr. Floyd, but managing the broader crowd. That's a really difficult, I think, narrative to win, given again what we've all seen, the witnesses standing on the sidewalk, getting increasingly agitated after pleading for the officers to take his pulse, pleading for the officers to give Mr. Floyd medical care, particularly after he went limp. Again, tough defense position to be in. They're doing what they can with not very good facts, given all of the evidence we've seen thus far.
I don't know what everybody thinks, but hindsight is 20/20, right? And I don't want to show the video because it's very distressing. But you know how they had him standing with, he was already cuffed, and the part where he was standing, I want to say in front of the store, and he was standing there and they were all talking. I think what they should have done, instead of the whole show that they ended up putting on, wait for the ambulance to get there. I think he would have been more agreeable to stepping into an ambulance, because he definitely didn't want to go in the cop car. You saw how he reacted to that. And remember, he was under the influence of some things, so he wasn't in his right mind. He required, somebody to assist him with his medical emergency because he was having that. And then take him into the ambulance, still cuffed. He'll still be arrested. He'll get his day in court or whatever, but at least he'd still be alive. Instead, they chose to be aggressive. They chose, I paused it earlier because I was going to say something, but I didn't want to stay on that image for too long. But even when he was trying to get out of the cop car, they were choking him. They had him from the back of the neck and they were squeezing, come on, they were just trying to kill him, and that's what happened, and now here we are. That's just my not professional opinion after the fact. But I went ahead and looked up another video. I kind of hope this lets me just go back. But there is a video called What to Expect of the George Floyd trial for next week. So let's see. Was this it? Yes, what to expect. Let me close this. Are we still here? No, I lost my... Oh, a pop-up came up. Sorry. Oh, I was trying to close this. There we go. So we'll watch this. I'll put it in the credits later. Here, let me just... Sorry, y'all. Let me just write that down. CBS this morning. I'll add it to the credits later, like after. But I want to see what to expect next week, so let's check it out.
An emotional week of testimony ended with the prosecution moving to a new stage of their case in the Derek Chauvin murder trial. Investigators took the stand Friday. Next week, we expect them to introduce experts who are likely to say Chauvin's knee to the neck is what caused George Floyd's death. CBS's Jamie Yukas takes us inside the case.
The most senior officer in the Minneapolis Police Department took the stand Friday. Lieutenant Richard Zimmerman was called to investigate what happened the day George Floyd died and told the jury Derek Chauvin violated police policy.
If your knee is on a person's neck, that can kill him.
This marked the end of a trying week in the courtroom.
My instincts were telling me that something's wrong.
911 dispatcher Jenna Scurry testified that she called the police on the police after seeing what was happening on a surveillance camera. Then, mixed martial artist Donald Williams testified about...
Everybody remembers the fish killer, right? The first day of the trial was very interesting, with very interesting characters. We got to meet the fish killer, and then the spazzed out chick that was like freaking out on the stand, and then there was the snappy dressed man with the white glasses. So that was interesting. the different people. It reminded me of the Amber Geiger trial, like with the guy with the Dragon Ball Z shirt. Everybody called him the guy with the Dragon Ball Z shirt. So we already have names for some of the witnesses and the people that are on the stand. That was funny. But this is what we have to do, because a lot of these subjects are very serious, and sometimes we just have to find something witty to point out to just get by through the seriousness of things and get what we need out of certain stories, because there is always something like to be learned from these situations. But I'm digressing now, so let's just watching the video before I talk too much.
Watching Floyd die and calling 911.
And why did you do that? Because I believe I witnessed a murder. Bro, check his ball, bro. You bogus, bro.
The defense focused on Williams' behaviors toward the officers that day.
After he called him a bum 13 times, he called him a bum. That's a huge word.
The prosecution's next witness, Darnella Frazier, shot this now infamous cell phone video.
It wasn't right. He was suffering. He was in pain.
She was among 4 witnesses whose faces were not shown on camera because they were minors at the time.
It would be nice. I'll stay up, apologizing and apologizing to George Floyd for not doing more.
New body camera video revealed for the first time Chauvin's reaction.
Gotta control this guy because it's a sizable guy. Yeah, that's why to get in the car. Looks like he's coming out something.
The prosecution also never before seen video of Floyd inside Cup Foods. Employee Christopher Martin briefly spoke with Floyd.
It would appear that he was high.
Martin says Floyd used what appeared to be a counterfeit $20 bill, leading to another worker calling the police.
What was going through your mind during that time period? Disbelief. Thank God. Why guilt? If I would have just not taken the bill, this could have been avoided.
The prosecution played dramatic video of the ambulance team's arrival. You could see paramedics at Bravender make a hand gesture at Chauvin to move as his partner Derek Smith checked Floyd's pulse.
What did his condition appear to be to you overall?
In lay terms, I thought he was dead.
Floyd's girlfriend, Courtney Ross, also testified about how they both struggled with opioid addiction.
It's a
classic story of how many people get addicted to opioids. We both suffered from chronic pain.
When you weren't using, prescription opioids, where did you get them?
Off the street, on the black market.
And you knew that
Good
you were doing
answer.
that as well.
Yes.
Ross testified that Floyd had bought drugs from Maurice Hall, the person sitting in the passenger seat of Floyd's SUV, on the day of the police encounter. He's refused to testify, citing his Fifth Amendment right. Next week, we're expected to hear from the Minneapolis police chief. People will be watching closely to see how he answers whether or not one of his former officers used excessive force on George Floyd. For CBS This Morning, Saturday, Jamie Yukas, Minneapolis.
Well, that gives us some answers about what's going to happen next week. We're going to be looking forward to
Paramedics, a former
meeting somebody that used to basically work with Derek Chauvin, and he's going to give his opinion about what his, former colleague was doing that day. Let's continue on. If you want to watch the George Floyd trial, though, Crown Empress is showing it on her channel. I will be showing clips, just to update anybody that's missing the highlights and stuff like that. But let's continue on. We have a few more videos to watch. We've already been on for a little bit over an hour, so that's interesting. That's really good. But I'm going to go ahead and switch gears and show this video. I don't know. I kind of want to know what whoever here is watching. 3 people in the room. What's up? So what does everyone think about these Satan shoes? Who wants a pair? Or who got a pair? Let's watch this clip. It's called Trending Stop the Shoes by CBS Miami. Ad. My bad, you guys. Hold on. I'm probably going to need to get some more water here in a minute, but I'll put a video on or something for you guys to watch so I can go do that.
Have to check out what's trending now, and Lil Nas X could say the devil made him do it, but it was likely the cash.
Yeah, whatever the case, Nike is saying stop. We told you about this recently. The rapper, quote-unquote, Satanized a pair of Nikes with a pentagram, upside-down cross, and a drop of blood. He then listed 666 pairs for sale. Well, don't mess with the swoosh. Nike sued, asking a judge to order the rapper to stop, and the judge agreed.
See, and to me, what I was thinking was, if Nike was on board, that would be more crazy. I'll just let this video play. But that would be more crazy because I saw some channels that dedicate themselves to watching for end time events, quote unquote, like the end of the world's coming up, rapture, people are matching up things that are happening in the world with biblical prophecy and stuff like that. And I definitely saw at least one channel that claimed that these Satan shoes are like breaking one of the seals towards the apocalypse or something like that. You know what I mean? And that was really funny to me, because I think if Nike, had backed these Satan shoes, then that probably would be the bigger headline. But instead, what we have is a celebrity who is allegedly super rich, jacking somebody's, idea of, the shoes. Their actual shoes, they already existed apparently, and he just, deformed them and did all these things to them and then sold them on the market for $666 or something like that. That sounds like something somebody would do at the flea market. You know what I mean? That's not so crazy. That's just somebody doing something really dumb, and look what happened. Now he's getting sued. But if you believe in conspiracy theories, they're all working together anyways, right? So I don't know. I definitely am not getting a pair of these Satan shoes. I think they're ugly. I think they're stupid. I think the drop of blood in them reminds me too much of adrenochrome and Pizzagate and just all the things that, like, I hate, secret societies and blood oaths and all that jazz. Like, it's just not my cup of tea unless I'm exposing it. That's different. But yeah, that was crazy. That was so unnecessary. Those Satan shoes were really dumb. But this is the volcano that erupted, I think, like a week ago or something like that, and it's still going. That's pretty end of the world. There's all these earthquakes and volcanoes going off and stuff like that. I might make a channel just covering nature news and just all the crazy stuff that's going on. But yeah, Satan shoes, not hot. I'm gonna pass. All right, let's continue. We're getting closer to finishing up here. Let's look at some serious stories real quick. So this next story we're gonna look at, I have been following for a few months now, I want to say. I will probably end up doing something more organized having to do with this individual, because he is a big problem in his community. And basically what's going on is he keeps offending. From what I know, from what I understand, he's raped and killed 2 children on separate occasions, and he keeps getting arrested and goes through the system, and they keep finding him not competent. He's competent enough to commit his crimes. He's competent enough to basically be getting away with them. I've never heard this guy talk. I've never heard anything like him, how he speaks. I don't know what he says, how he says things. I don't know if he could be just so smart, for all we know, that he's able to just manipulate the law. Volcano in Iceland. Oh, it's Iceland, not Switzerland. My bad, you guys. I don't mean to give disinformation. But the next video we're going to watch is about somebody named Kane Madden. And we're going to watch the video. And if I feel that there's not enough information, we will look for articles or whatever it takes to get a more rounded out view of this story. I keep hitting the wrong thing. Okay.
It's a law people in Louisville's California neighborhood have been waiting to see pass. Rose McBride's been following the developments today. She joins us live now to tell us why. Rose?
So in 2019, Kane Madden allegedly raped and fractured the skull of an 8-year-old girl in that California neighborhood. He was pronounced incompetent to stand trial. He was also found not competent to stand trial 10 times before this alleged assault. Even the day before the allegedly committed the assault, authorities had him in custody for a theft and burglary case. But he walked free. That's because of a loophole in a Kentucky law, which this new law today that was passed closes. The law stated previously, a defendant who was ruled incompetent to stand trial and was considered dangerous because of a mental illness would be involuntarily hospitalized, but only if a judge determined that person would benefit from treatment. If that person would not benefit, he or she would then be released into the public. Now, that's not the case.
There is no prohibition once he was released as to where he might travel. So, California neighborhood specifically should be relieved, and I think the community in Jefferson County, generally speaking, should be very relieved that the legislature and the governor work together so hard to get this stuff passed.
Even if a judge determines someone would not benefit from treatment, that person could be placed in a forensic psychiatric facility. Madden had a hearing today. We weren't able to find out what happened because it was confidential, but since the law was passed before the afternoon hearing, that does mean that Madden could now be involuntarily committed to a treatment facility. For WHAS 11 News, I'm McBride.
We'll watch that here in a second.
Prosecutors say this Houston mother took.
Wow, everything keeps switching up on me. All right, so basically, what do you know about this guy? That he knows about a loophole in the law. He keeps offending, gets arrested, locked up, and then they find him incompetent, and then they release him back into the community because of some loophole. And they keep saying California neighborhood, but he's actually from Kentucky, and apparently there's a place called California there or something like that. Yeah, I tried looking for some articles about him, and some of the stuff is just so awful. He molested an 8-year-old. He killed her over an iPad, and that's what landed him in jail this last time. I'm looking very quickly. I'm just scanning through like what I'm finding about him, but something here says Kane Madden smeared his feces on the wall of a psychiatric hospital in LaGrange, Kentucky, spelling out "I will kill her." And he also threatened to harm some people. His first alleged victim was a friend. He sexually assaults children. He's a whole nightmare. If I ever do decide to do something on this character, on this suspect, this individual, whatever you want to call him, I might just do that on another platform. I don't know if y'all heard me earlier, but I am interested in signing up for any platform that doesn't have any like copyright issues the way YouTube does. And that way I could speak a little bit more freely about some of the cases that I look up, because some of them are very graphic, and and it just seems like a whole other vibe here. You really got to be careful what you say and do here. And I want to go somewhere where there's not so much of that. So if anybody has any ideas, anybody willing to go over to some other platform so that we could do that, just let me know. But we're going to continue on, and we're going to watch this very short video. This just happened, I want to say, last week in Houston. Another thing I want to add real quick is I'm thinking about also doing maybe a channel, or maybe like once a week, just kind of feature Houston, because the chief of police just left, which is crazy, because he was the chief of police during the Malia Davis situation, during the Hardy botch raid, and some other situations that were happening in Houston that are very serious and that were pending. We were all looking forward to seeing some kind of, court dates happening, more charges happening. Nothing's going on. Excuse me. He leaves to Miami, which is a way smaller city. So he's pretty much taking a vacation. He's going to retire out there. I don't know what he's doing. And now I don't think they've announced a new chief of police yet. But something to think about is, what does this mean for the cases that are pending right now? Does that mean that somebody's going to go in now and try to get some resolutions going, or are they going to continue being put on the back burner? So that's yet to be seen. So that's what my interest is in Houston. So look forward to that. I might have like one day out of the week or something where I just cover Houston, because maybe Houston, Dallas, because there's a lot of stuff that happens there. But this next story is from, I think, Dallas, because it's a CBS DFW, and that's Dallas Fort Worth. And it's titled, Houston Mother Accused of Giving 6-Year-Old Son Lethal Doses of Medicine for $100,000 in Life Insurance. If this doesn't have enough information, again, I'll go search for an article and give you more information, because this video is only 39 seconds, so they probably don't have a lot of information on here, but let's watch anyways.
Prosecutors say this Houston mother took out 2 life insurance policies on her 6-year-old son about a month before giving him lethal doses of medications and over-the-counter drugs. Harris County District Attorney prosecutors say Ashley Marks repeatedly drugged her son in June. According to court documents, her father told police the child had frightening hallucinations of bugs on his clothes before his death, and says his daughter gave the 6-year-old more NyQuil a few hours before he died. According to the drug maker, it should not be given to children under 12 years old. Marks is charged with capital murder and is being held without bond. Katie Johnston for CBS 11 News.
Give me 1 second. I think my dog's about to attack my sliding door. Here, let me go ahead and put on the volcano again. And let me just go check that out. Just give me a second. I'm going to mute myself and try really hard to remember to unmute myself when I get back. Just give me 1 second. Okay, I had to kick Scruffy out into the living room because he kept staring out the sliding door, and he's really loud when he sees a cat back there. He growls and it's scary and he barks and it's really loud, and I didn't want the mic to pick that up. But he's good. There he goes. Okay, well, he's out there. I mean, I don't know. I'll just... There's no way of avoiding it, I guess. Let's continue. We're almost done. I want to say we have maybe like less than 10 videos to watch. The next one is courtesy of DW News. I'm unmuted, right? Yes. Dozens killed in Taiwan railway crash. So I'm going to go ahead and play this and go see what's up with my dog. I'll be right back. Okay.
Shuffling to safety, one train carriage roof at a time.
I'm back.
Many people were crushed under train seats from the collision, and there were others on top of the seats, so those at the bottom were crushed and lost consciousness. The accident comes at the start of a busy annual long holiday weekend, when Taiwan's roads and railways are usually packed. Investigations into the cause of the crash are ongoing.
NTW correspondent Joyce Lee is standing by for us inside the hospital where the seriously injured are being treated close to the crash site. What can you tell us about the injured?
So there is a total of 150 injured in the accident, and 55 of them were sent here to this major hospital in Hualien City. And 17 of them are still here at the hospital, and 2 of them are still in the intensive care unit. And unfortunately, a 6-year-old girl died in the hospital, and her 12-year-old sister is still in the ICU. Their grandparents rushed to the hospital, taking a taxi for over 8 hours to come here to attend to them. And it is believed that President Tsai Ing-wen will come and visit the wounded tomorrow morning.
Joyce, can you give us more details on what exactly has happened to that train?
So the train was heading to the southeastern Taiwan, Taichung City, but then a construction vehicle was believed to have not parked properly, and it slid down to the slope and hit the train passing by. And 4 carriages were stuck in the tunnel, and the authorities said that they were actually deformed. So many people were trapped inside the carriages.
And talking about the people trapped inside the carriages, what is going to happen in the coming hours? Are there still passengers unaccounted for?
all the injured are already sent to 6 hospitals and being treated for. So the authorities are trying to clear the track so that the train could pass by smoothly because the holiday is will go until a Monday. So it is important that the traffic will not be blocked by the train.
Joyce, how have the people of Taiwan reacted to this terrible news?
They are very shocked and very saddened by the news because this is the first day of the long weekend of the Qingming Festival, where people usually go back to their hometown and reunite with their family and pay respect to their ancestors. So this is a very, very sad news in Taiwan.
DW correspondent Joyce Lee, thank you very much.
I went ahead and looked up some updates about that situation. It looks like prosecutors are looking to arrest someone in the deadly train crash that we just saw about. It says that the truck's emergency brake was not properly engaged. Authorities initially reported 51 deaths, but revised the countdown by 1 on Saturday. So we're looking at 50 deaths. Many passengers were crushed just before the train entered a tunnel, while some survivors were forced to climb out of windows and walk along the train's roof to safety. The chief prosecutor, where the train derailed, said they were seeking an arrest warrant for the truck's owner, who was questioned along with several others. She didn't offer details, citing an ongoing investigation. Okay. I'll go ahead and look more into that as well and see if there are any updates, and if they do make arrests and things like that, I'll go ahead and make sure to add that to my information. Don't forget to go check out my Instagram. I've been dropping the link. I'll do that again here in a minute. And that's probably where I'm going to be posting the more serious stories. If there's any like shootings, like anything that includes like body cam, like violent graphic footage, that kind of thing, I'll probably just post it on Instagram and lead people towards that for that type of footage and information, because I actually, the first live that I ever did, this isn't my first live, I've done one more. I actually got flagged for, I think, a shooting, and we show shootings all the time. So, but this one day it was a problem or whatever, and that kind of discouraged me to keep going, and I had stopped. But, you know, I think I've learned my lesson, and I'm just going to try to play it as safe as possible until I can find another platform where I can go and be a little bit more liberal about what type of content I can share. So we're going to continue on here. Let's look at a happier, switch gears to a more good news type of thing. This is an animal story. It's called Mama Cat Brings Her Sick Kittens to Health Clinic so Doctors Could Help Them. And this is courtesy of KHOU 11. Wait, it didn't go to it. Did it? Oh, I know what I did. I hit the wrong thing again. Wow.
To support local restaurants,
Let's try that again.
Every city, including Little Rock, and
add, and it's gonna make us watch the whole thing. So let me go ahead and add the link to my Instagram. And then the video starts. Of course, I wanted to read all that. Hang on, let me just add the link real quick. Here we go. All right, so a stray cat brought her 2 kittens to a health clinic in Turkey, according to local officials. And there she goes, another good mom. The staff said the mama cat meowed for attention for a while. Oh, look at the baby kitties. An exam showed that the kittens had eye infections. And they're giving them drops in their little eyeballs. Oh, look, there's 2 of them. The little ones were able to get treatment thanks to their mom. So cute. Look, it's playing already. The stray cat and her kittens were put up for adoption after treatment, according to the local municipality. Good for them. That is so cute. I love animal stories. If you guys ever see any cute animal stories too, send those over to me. I know what to do with them. Alright, so here's another animal story, but it's not a happy one to, you know, in particular. It's just one of those weird things that happen in life. So let's watch. It's called Intruder Alert. Deer crashes through nursing home window. There he goes. Oh, that looks so stressful. Oh, he's bleeding. They're just trying to hold him down so he's not slipping and sliding everywhere. You know, he could break his legs. They're so thin. Look, they're just trying to get him out of there. Listen, this isn't the only video of a deer crashing through a window. Now, I'm hoping this isn't, like, for lack of better term, a pandemic, because I have another video. See if I can find it. I know I saved it here. But have you all ever seen, I think it's called A Happening, and where like all this stuff is happening, obviously, and people are like jumping off of like buildings and crashing into things and stuff like that. This is the kind of vibe I had this week because I saw that video and then I saw this video. It's called Deer Jumps into School Bus Window, and it's courtesy of CBS 46 Atlanta. Yeah, it's a good thing it didn't hit anyone. And another thing too is that it could have like rabies. Like I don't know where that was. I don't remember where that was, but it could, you know, it could have bit somebody. Like things could have gone really bad. But it looks like they were able to get this situation under control, and the deer is back out into nature, hopefully where it should be. But who knows? So we're gonna move on to this other crazy video of a deer jumping through a window. Let's go.
A sleepy bus ride takes a shocking turn for one Virginia high schooler. A deer crashes through a school bus's windshield, landing on the unsuspected student. Rob Hughes walks us through the video. You have to see it.
I felt the bus instantly slow down, and then instantly I hear like a loud noise.
Oh my god.
Shattering the bus's windshield.
I got kind of like pushed down.
The panicked animal, a tangled mess of legs trying to orient itself after a serious collision.
I was really confused because I was trying to sleep and I woke up to something on my back. So, and then I realized it was a deer and I was very confused because I'd never seen a deer actually jump through a windshield and then land.
Just moments earlier, the deer was just walking around outside.
The deer came out on his left, jumped up in the air right about the time he hit it. So it came right through the windshield.
The driver stopped the bus and quickly shepherded the deer out the door.
He did great. He did everything. He stopped, did what he needed to do, made sure everyone was safe, got the deer out as fast as he could, and then called him. He did everything good.
On Monday, it'll be back to school and no doubt back to his favorite seat.
There's no way it's happening twice.
Rob Hughes, CBS 46 News.
See what I mean? What the hell? I mean, it could be a coincidence, but I'm just saying. I always get that vibe, especially when animals start behaving strangely, you know? They start beaching themselves and just doing things that, you know, aren't normal, everyday things. It's just, you know, we're back to that end of the world conversation. I think pretty much a lot of these stories are going to make me feel that way. Like just shit's just going really bad. I want to cover another thing that's been happening in the news, like this other thing that I've noticed, the stealing of catalytic converters. I don't know anything about cars, right? But apparently it's becoming something of a trend to be stealing catalytic converters for their precious jewels, and I don't know what else like is in it. Maybe one of these clips will explain more about it. But I'm gonna start with how spending $6 could keep thieves away from your catalytic converter, and this is courtesy of KHOU 11. And I did it again. Bad. My bad, y'all. I'm probably gonna need to stand up again to get some water. I'm running low already. You can see that I'm like to right here.
Just in the past couple of years, the number of catalytic converters stolen off of cars skyrocketed. Yesterday, we broke down how and why. Now we want to help you fight back so you're not the next victim. This isn't what you want to see when you look under your truck first thing in the morning. Your catalytic converter seemingly hanging by a thread.
He had cut both sides, but there's a bracket, and it takes a little bit of work to get it out. So he didn't get it out. It was still there.
Chuck Blomstein was lucky. He spooked the thieves before they could finish the job, but no such luck for Hank Lewis.
I'm like, wait a minute, is there supposed to be something between the muffler and something else in this pipe?
That blank space is where thieves cut out his catalytic converter right outside his gym.
So that was a shocker to the least.
A shocker for Lewis, but not for the Houston police, tasked with catching those thieves.
They're doing it in broad daylight, every parking lot, at the schools, they're everywhere.
How do you make sure you're not next? The best defense, park your car in the garage. Not everyone has one, so then what? Well, you still have options. Sergeant Jesse Fight recommends spraying your whole catalytic converter end to end with bright, high-temperature paint.
If they're going to try to sell that, then they're going to have to scrape all of that paint off.
That's the cheap option. If you can draw a couple $100, consider a cage like this. It has to be welded on and is much harder to take off.
So that would take more time, make more noise. It would probably just scoot them on to the next victim.
Help officers nab these guys by etching your VIN on the converter. That way, if it turns up at a scrapyard, they'll be able to trace it back to you.
You know, when you take an engraving tool and actually engrave it, it makes us a lot of trouble. You know what? Let's look up this number right here.
HPD is also working with city leaders and state lawmakers to make it harder to sell catalytic converters. For example, the city recently adopted new rules that require sellers to provide the year, make, model, and then every catalytic converter they bring in. No documentation, no sale, and officers hope less incentive to go out and try again.
Stopping. See, and I told it stop. Or what did I do? I don't know what I did. Okay, so that was that. Let's keep going because it gets weirder. This one's called Vail Police Release Images of Suspects in Catalytic Converter Theft Case, and this is from CBS Denver.
Vail is the latest Colorado town to see a rise in catalytic converter thefts was reported on this increase in the metro area. Police say these suspects stole several catalytic converters from parked cars at the Vail Mountain School. Surveillance cameras captured these pictures of the suspects and of their truck. Officers found the truck abandoned in Dillon, but there's still no sign of those suspects.
First time I was like, oh my god.
Okay, I'll just play this one next.
He's just running out there barefoot.
A North Park man springs into action when he wakes up to thieves at work under his daughter's car. As ABC 10 News reporter Michael Chen tells us, this latest incident is part of a sharp increase in catalytic converter thefts.
Past 1:30 in the morning Thursday, and just off 30th Street, Karina Diaz was asleep in her bedroom while her father, Javier, was in the living room.
He fell asleep on the couch and just woke up to that drilling sound.
Barefoot and wearing boxers, Javier is seen in surveillance video leaping into action.
Saw the car, pulled up next to my car, and he knew instantly what they were doing.
After a laugh and some cursing, several people get into the car and drive off. Karina's dad got into his truck.
Followed them a couple blocks down and tried to retrieve that license plate, but again, they were going so fast too. neighborhood that he couldn't get a clear view.
Back at home, this is what was left behind. The catalytic converter cut out of Karina's 2008 Toyota Prius.
Definitely going to be fun.
Her insurance plan won't cover the theft, so Karina must pay the $2,000 repair bill out of pocket. It was just 2 years ago thieves stole a catalytic converter out of the same car.
It was really frustrating.
Frustration shared by many car owners. In San Diego, between July and December, nearly 250 catalytic converters were stolen, an increase of more than 600% from the first part of the year. The devices are stolen for precious metals contained inside. The Prius is the most targeted by thieves. Karina hoping these thieves will be caught. Her father was able to get a partial claim.
I'm glad he reacted quickly and, happy he's okay.
Michael Chen, ABC 10 News.
If nothing gives information about what's so great about these catalytic converters and how come they're getting stolen, I'll look it up. But what we just saw was North Park man gives chase during catalytic converter theft, and that was courtesy of ABC 10 News. So we saw this one, and we saw this one, and there's a couple more about these catalytic converter.
Now let's shift gears to talk about a growing crime here in Houston and really across the country.
And Brady, we've been talking about it lately, but it seems to just keep happening. Yeah, this photo from the Harris County Sheriff's Office really illustrates a big problem in our area. So these are all catalytic converters, a pretty vital part of your car, and chances are these were not taken with the owner's permission.
You think?
That sound woke me up early one Sunday morning last month. I picked up the window and saw 3 guys around my neighbor's truck.
Oh my
Before I
God.
hit record, I called 911. Then I started rolling as they saw the catalytic converter off the truck.
It's unfortunate that the citizens of Houston are being victimized in such a way by these thieves.
Sergeant Jesse Fight is part of HPD's metal theft unit, a team that's responding to an exponential growth in catalytic converter thefts. In 2018, it happened 85 times. The next year, 375. That number ballooned to more than 1,300 through October of 2020.
Seems to track alongside the stock market prices for the metals that are currently up.
Those metals are platinum, palladium, and rhodium found in the converters, which means thieves can get anywhere from $100 to $300 for each one they bring to
It wasn't precious jewels, it was precious metals. My bad.
the scrapyard. The cost per victim is much higher.
It's something that has to be fixed immediately.
Sergeant Tracy Hicks says a lot of the vehicles thieves target are older, which means the owners only have liability insurance.
It's going to be no less than $2,000, and that's a lot of money. That it might as well be $50,000 to some people.
What do you hear from these folks who don't have full coverage insurance, who come out, now can't drive their car? That has to be heartbreaking on a certain level.
It is. Those stories are heartbreaking, and now we're just seeing another way to victimize people.
They do it in broad daylight, in crowded parking lots, right along your street as the sun is about to come up. And then, just like that, they're gone. Or maybe you've been the victim of catalytic converter theft or know someone who has. It is a tough crime to stop completely, but there are things you can do to make yourself less of a target, and we're going to share some of those with you tomorrow morning, guys.
And you know,
I want to say that was the video that we saw a little while ago, but there's one more, and this one is crazy. It's called Apparent Catalytic Converter Thief Crushed to Death by Collapsing Car in Anaheim, and this is courtesy of CBS Los Angeles. Let's skip this ad.
Anaheim, a man crushed to death by a car, and police think he was trying to steal a catalytic converter. This comes amid a surge in thefts of these pricey car parts. KCAL9's Jasmine Beal has that story.
This photo shows a man crushed underneath a Toyota Prius in an auto repair lot in Anaheim after police say he was trying to steal the car's catalytic converter overnight.
The jack that he used to lift up the vehicle failed, and the car came down on top of him,
unfortunately crushing him and causing his death.
Police found his tools he had left behind under the car, which belongs to Wilmer Rodriguez's building company.
It's unfortunate that that situation had to happen.
Several business owners here say this is not the first time thieves have stolen their catalytic converters, which is a costly critical emissions control device that can be sawed off from the belly of a car in minutes. It contains precious metals.
In recent weeks, we've had a rash of catalytic converters stolen out of the complex here.
John Harp was one of the first business owners to discover the man's body and call police.
What I found peculiar was that his shoes were off. It led me to believe that somebody was there assisting him and tried to pull him out, maybe.
And why a Toyota Prius? Because these converters fetch a higher price because the gas engines don't run as much, meaning more of those precious metals are still there.
It's a crime that we've seen in Southern California occurring for quite a while, though right now it does seem to be reaching somewhat more of a fevered pitch.
Just last Friday, police found a catalytic converter and power saw inside this truck after the speeding driver crashed into a Garden Grove pool, killing the two parolees inside along with an innocent driver. These stolen catalytic converters were found in Santa Monica. The parts are shipped overseas, like to China, where the price has quadrupled in the last 5 years due to demand because of stricter emission restrictions. As for this case, police are still looking for any accomplices. In Anaheim, Jasmine Deal, KCAL 9 News.
And there are ways you can keep an eye on your catalytic converter. At the sheriff stations in Walnut and Diamond Bar, auto workers etched driver's license plate numbers on their catalytic converters for free today. The goal is to deter thieves from stealing the hot commodity and assist police with catching and prosecuting them.
And returning the product if they're able to find it, hopefully. So that's crazy. Somebody lost their life trying to steal one of those catalytic converter things for its precious metals. That's just wild. 600% too. The occurrences that have been happening with that's freaking crazy. We got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 videos to watch. So let's just start from the top and we will work our way down, and then I think I'll be calling it a night because I've already been on here for 2 hours, and that's awesome.
A 9-year-old boy is among 4 people.
My bad. This is called Gunmen New Victims in California Building Attack.
Killed last night in a shooting at an office building in Orange, California.
Back up!
A fifth victim is in critical condition at a hospital. That woman is believed to be the young boy's mother.
It appears that a little boy died in his mother's arms who was trying to save him.
The gunman, identified as 44-year-old Aminadab Gasiola Gonzalez, suffered a gunshot wound and is in critical condition.
This appears to be an isolated incident, and we believe everyone knew each other, whether through a business or personal relationship.
Police arrived at the two-story structure around 5:30 p.m. as shots were being fired.
2 gunshots.
The gunman had locked the courtyard gate behind him and opened fire into the windows of the building. Officers forced entry and located the suspect.
The police came, and then I heard a few more gunshots go off, and then there was like a lot.
Police say they found a semi-automatic handgun and a backpack containing pepper spray, handcuffs, and ammunition, which they believe belonged to the suspect. The violence in Orange is the nation's 3rd mass shooting in just over 2 weeks. Coming on the heels of the 8 people being shot and killed in multiple spa locations around Atlanta, and 10 people killed in a grocery store in Boulder, Colorado. President Biden has received criticism from his own party and gun rights groups for not focusing enough on the gun violence epidemic. Voting at ABC News, Los Angeles.
Yeah, that was a really sad situation. I was reading into it, and it looks like the building was office buildings, and I heard somebody say that the victims were involved in real estate, and the suspect had an ongoing business and personal relationship with the victim. So he knew who they were, what they did. He knew them personally. It's pretty much all the information that I got on what happened there and why. But if I find anything else, I will post it on IG or here. So remember to hit the like and share, subscribe, hit the all notification bell, so that way you can get a notification right when I go live and you won't miss a thing. Let's continue on, and we're going to watch men accused of following woman from bank for hours before robbing her. And this is courtesy of KHOU 11.
Thieves following people from the bank is nothing new.
No, not exactly, but tonight we're learning just how far some are willing to go to stalk their victims before striking.
Jason Miles shows us one recent case that was all caught on camera.
Houston police hope the scar on this guy's forehead, his eyes, or even hoodie helped someone recognize him. Wanted for scoping out a woman inside a Bel Air Avenue bank lobby before robbing her of a large sum of money later. It wasn't late when it started, but around 1 o'clock in the afternoon on a Saturday.
They conduct their own surveillance, their own monitoring, their own following.
Senior Officer Mike Krause with HPD's West Division says this type of crime is commonly known as jugging, when crooks follow victims from a bank or ATM, and in this case, wait a while before striking. Police say nearly 2 hours passed from the time the woman was followed from the bank until her purse was stashed in this parking lot. The surveillance cameras caught both the suspect and his getaway truck. That's him running with the purse after forcibly grabbing it from the woman. The late model Chevy pickup cruises up and he hurriedly jumps in. Police believe the second truck the security guard runs in front of was also involved.
They're looking for the easy target most of the time.
Areas with easy access see the crime more than others, including the southwest side of Houston.
Plus the west side of town, we have Interstate 10, Beltway 8, West Park Toll Road, 59. We have all the easy ons and offs.
Changing up your banking routine is one way to help avoid becoming a victim. Consider hiring a guard or courier if you deal with large amounts of money. And as always, be observant and aware of your surroundings.
You have to get out of the mentality that this can't happen to me. It's not going to happen to me. You know, you have to prepare for it. You have to be ready for it.
In Houston, Jason Mott.
Especially if you live in Houston. I'm telling you, I'm getting ready to do a whole channel just covering Houston. It's go so crazy out there. Oh, I forgot to show this earlier. It would have been better if I would have shown it at the same time that I showed the George Floyd trial updates and like catching up with everything, but I wanted to show you all what the inside of the courtroom looks like. So let's watch a walkthrough of the Derek Chauvin trial in the death of George Floyd, and this is courtesy of KHOU 11.
We want to take you on an inside look at the courtroom where the trial will take place. Because of COVID concerns, there are limits to many things you would normally see. Starting off, everyone will be required to wear a mask. Only one print reporter and one TV reporter are allowed in each day, so all media will share a stream of 3 cameras set up in the courtroom. One will show the podium where both the prosecution and defense attorneys will argue their sides. The next will show the tables where Derek Chauvin will be sitting with his team, the others 4 state attorneys. The third camera will show the judge and any witnesses being examined. Here's something that has not changed. No one from the jury can be shown at any point, but they will be present in socially distanced seats. Others in the courtroom will be a judge's clerk and a court reporter who will transcribe the proceedings. Also new during this trial, no family members can be shown in the gallery. That's the area that is normally full of spectators. Only one member of the Chauvin family is allowed each day, as well as only one member from George Floyd's family. So you won't see a normally packed courtroom for a high-profile trial.
That's
just
crazy.
a few key people.
We know a lot of you will be watching this trial closely since Floyd grew up in Houston. We'll have updates every day on air, online, and on the KHU.
Wow. Only one person from the family? That's crazy. I can't even imagine what that would be like. They're having to like what? Flip a coin to see who's gonna go see the trial. But I understand where they're coming from. I think I hear somebody. I hope not. Let's continue on. Oh yeah, this is a news clip that I found about the winter storm that went through Texas. What was that, like a month ago? Around a month ago. So the death toll has been figured out. Let's watch this clip. It's called Texas Death Toll from February Winter Storm. outages surpasses 100. And this is courtesy of KHOU 11 again.
Like new numbers released today reveal a higher death toll in Texas as a result of the winter storm. The Department of State Health Services announced today 111 people lost their lives, most due to hypothermia, but others are blamed on car accidents, carbon monoxide poisoning, and medical equipment failures, just to name a few. Most of those deaths happened in Harris County. Lauren Tellerico is taking a closer look at the numbers tonight.
The winter storm is long gone, but for dozens of families in Texas, the pain of it will never go away. Today, the Department of Health upped the state's death toll to 111, and shockingly, Harris County alone makes up 28% of that total, with 31 deaths.
There's a story behind these tragedies.
Anthropologist Dr. Eric Jones with UT Health School of Public Health says it's important to look beyond the number.
What is the cause of each of the deaths, rather than say, okay, there's a high number or not, and whether there then is, in terms of public health, something that can be done.
The report says the causes of death include fire, traffic accidents, and carbon monoxide, but the main cause was hypothermia. Harris County does have the highest population of people. The latest census shows about 4.7 million. Let's compare that to Dallas County with about 2.6 million. Its death toll just a fraction of ours, though, coming in at 3. Beyond each number is a person like Mary G., an 84-year-old grandmother. Then there's James Jones, an 83-year-old grandfather.
He was just a memory that you're not going to forget. It has truly affected my family a lot.
Dr. Jones says behind each tragedy is a lesson and can be a catalyst for change.
There's a social aspect to this that, of course, we're saddened by, but we're also looking at opportunity to perhaps be part of some of the solution.
Standing for Houston, I'm Lauren Tellerico, KHOU 11 News.
The last man that they showed, let me see if I could find him. Yeah, him. He passed away because he needed his oxygen tank. And I think he went without electricity for something like 3 days. There's a lawsuit pending for his case. It's really sad, and I saw some people go through a lot during that winter storm. We're talking icicles inside people's homes, water, pipes bursting, and electricity just colder probably inside than it is outside during a winter storm. That was really sad. I live in Texas, but I live all the way at the bottom, and personally, I did experience a power outage, but it wasn't anything like what most people went through. I went without power for like 12 hours, and it was cold, and it was stressful, but it could have been a lot worse. So I really hope that the family can get some type of justice for his situation, because that's brutal. Nobody should have to go without, a medical device because people weren't prepared, basically, beforehand. So I hope everything works out from here on out, at least for them, and they get some closure on the situation. Let's continue. Let me see. This next story is, we're almost done. We have like 2 more clips to watch, and then we're gonna go ahead and call it a night. I'm gonna try to come back, if not tomorrow night, then maybe on Monday. I'm just gonna play it by ear. I'll be looking out for news clips, videos that we could watch. Again, if you have anything that you want me to look at or you want me to share, just DM me or text me, whatever it is that, whatever way you have to reach me. If you don't, then in the comment section, just tell me some keywords to find whatever story it is that you're thinking about, and I'll do my best to cover it. This next video is called 2 Women Report Being Approached by Fake Officers Recently. What to do if you suspect an impersonator. And this is from News 5 Cleveland.
Developing tonight, an important warning to be alert, and it comes after we've had reports of not 1 but 2 people in 2 counties being approached by police impersonators.
Circumstances were different, but the concern is the same. So what should you do if you're approached by an officer? News 5's Caroline Sweeney learned more about those incident explains what to do so you can stay safe.
A marked police car is easily recognizable. The lights, the siren, are what we associate with a traffic stop.
They see the lights and the sirens, and frequently doesn't cross people's mind like, is this actually a police officer? But in this instance, it is.
That's Bill Holland with the Summit County Sheriff's Office. Earlier this week, the agency shared this Facebook post. It's about an incident from neighboring Stark County.
Sure.
Let's go back to that Facebook post since they didn't bother to read it. It says, one of our neighbors on the Nextdoor app contacted us this week about a situation involving his young granddaughter from neighboring Stark County. Recently, she was stopped by a car with red and blue flashing lights and a man in a blue uniform who asked for her ID. As it turns out, this was not an actual member of law enforcement, but was somebody impersonating an officer. Fortunately, she did not get out of her car, and the man did not do anything beyond this.
From neighboring Stark County.
When Sheriff Ottery became aware of that incident, she, very important that we put it on Facebook.
A woman was approached by a person who said they were a police officer. The person was not law enforcement.
It could happen to anyone. Generally, when you get pulled over by law enforcement, it's going to be someone in a marked vehicle.
Now, the sheriff's office has some tips in case you get pulled over. This isn't that typical police cruiser that we see, but it is a clearly marked car. It has the Summit County Sheriff's badge in the front. It has sheriff going clearly marked all the way across the door. It also has lights in the front and in the back of the car. The sheriff's office.
Yeah, but not always. I've seen cop cars that look all black and all those like stickers and stuff that she was just talking about. They're like a matte black. You can't even tell.
Also says if you have any concerns at all when you're getting pulled over, call 911 and they can give you some assistance.
So if you were to call into that dispatch center and say, here's who I am, I've been pulled over, and give your location, they should have record of that traffic stop that they can verify.
Holland says plainclothes police officers in unmarked cars can and do make traffic stops, but it's rare.
And that police officer should provide that because they should expect that someone would ask for that because they don't have any markings on them.
These impersonations can happen off the roads too.
1337B.
A woman in Lakewood called police there after someone came to her house claiming to be a police detective.
Went to their house and was asking their minor child a bunch of questions.
Oh,
Holland
no.
said it's important for people to stay vigilant. Caroline Sweeney, News 5.
Well, that's scary. You find yourself calling the cops on the cops. All right, so we got one more video, and then I gotta go. So it was really nice hanging out. Thank you so much for stopping by. Danielle Williams, you're the hero of the day. I would have been on mute this entire time if you hadn't have said anything. Observing stuff. Thanks for showing up. Always. Punisher J Gaming. Thank you so much for stopping by. You're great. You're awesome. Everybody's amazing here. I hope everybody has a really good weekend. If I don't see you tomorrow, hopefully Monday, I'll be back. We're going to watch this one last video, and then we're going to call it quits for the night. It's called Amazon Scam Calls, and it's courtesy of NBC4 Columbus.
Well, do you have any orders on the way from Amazon? If the answer is yes, you are a prime target for the latest Amazon scam. NBC4 consumer reporter John Matter-Reed shows you what to watch out for so you don't waste your money.
Many Ohioans have been placing hundreds of orders at Amazon during the pandemic. So many orders, we don't remember our last one. That's why it's very easy to fall for this latest phone scam. Kimberly Moore was at her health administrator job when she received a strange call on her cell.
Knowledge regarding your purchase from Amazon.com. You have made a transaction of $529.
A very specific amount of money of a purchase that they wanted to see if I made.
But Kimberly never made any such purchase. The automated call then gave her an option.
Then call this number because then they need to get it all straightened out for you.
Luckily, instead of calling, she checked her Amazon account and realized there was no such $500 order. These calls are effective because they catch you off guard while you're reading a book or watching TV or making dinner and you don't have Amazon open.
That order seems to be fraudulent. Press 1 to talk with Amazon fraud department executive.
Sometimes it's a woman. FCC says if you press 1, an agent will ask for the credit card number attached to the account. Don't do it. It's a scam. Amazon will email you personally with your name if there's an account issue. Kim is glad she checked her account online before calling the number back.
I figured it was a fraud, but even still, it was like, oh my gosh, was there $500 and something now missing from my account?
Luckily, her account was fine. Still not sure? Ask the caller to read you your account number. Chances are they don't know it. You don't waste your money. I'm John Madden.
Yeah, nobody's going near my Amazon account. I love it. I don't want anybody messing with my stuff. There's something I was thinking about right now. What was it? There's one last thing. Hang on. Let me stop screen, make me big, and share a different screen. I wanted to quickly share what I was playing in the background. And that way, you know, just give them a little bit more credit since, you know, they contributed to this live stream. It's by No Copyright Music. The channel is Chill Out Records, No Copyright Music. I'll let you know if I do end up getting a copyright strike or anything like that, because you never really know. They say no copyright, and then before you know it, they're striking you or whatever. But that's courtesy of that. What is happening here? So I'm going to go ahead and just call it a day. Thank you very much, everybody, for stopping by. I will see you very soon, and I will have more videos to show. Hopefully I'll be a little bit more organized and whatnot. Yeah, so thank you very much, and everybody have a good weekend. Thank you.